I just said, hey, all these stamps are good, all my papers are correct. You're not gonna tell me that my papers are not correct. And I just start packing up and I just left.
For nearly a decade, the strong Dutch woman behind Itchy Boots has shown the world that no limit is impossible to overcome before the age of 40.
Oh, it's rocky. Sorry, Alaska. You're getting another bashing.
But at the milestone of 39, when the cameras were turned off, Noraly Schoenmaker made a statement that left her entire fan base stunned.
Finishing my Africa tour. It's kind of like the end was in sight. But I think it's finished now.
Could all those wild journeys and treacherous roads have been nothing more than a way for her to escape a certain reality? Could the persistent speculation surrounding her personal life and the future of the Itchy Boots channel have been accurate all along? Today's video will reveal the full truth she has now officially acknowledged. Since its official launch in late 2018, the development of the Itchy Boots brand has always been tied to major debates over the authenticity of what appears on camera. The adventure motorcycle community has continually raised technical questions about whether one person could independently operate such a high-quality media system. On Reddit and within the ADV rider community, many members argued heatedly that Noraly Schoenmaker could not possibly concentrate on riding across treacherous terrain while operating a large array of recording equipment without support vehicles or a professional camera crew following behind her. These suspicions grew so intense that the Dutch vlogger was compelled to explain her solo working process in detail at the ABR festival.
Or, or I should use this angle, or I should narrate this, and that's kind of going on behind the scenes.
She spoke candidly about the harsh reality of having to ride through a dangerous section of road, set up the camera, ride past it, then walk back to retrieve the equipment. Repeating this process doubles the exhaustion, but it is the only way she can guarantee the authenticity of the Itchy Boots brand. Travel companions appear only in a few special regions, where local law requires a native guide such as Yemen or China.
What went down in Iraq, and then with the bike, and it's been really intense, and the whole thing in Yemen with all these guns everywhere.
Alongside questions about filming techniques, the financial resources behind her continuous journeys across multiple continents also became a major subject of public discussion. Many theories circulated claiming that Schoenmaker came from a wealthy family or had powerful hidden backers covering all of her living expenses, transoceanic motorcycle transportation, and international insurance. In reality, the economic structure of Itchy Boots has been built entirely on the organic commercial growth of an independent content creator. Her income comes from the enormous flow of AdSense revenue generated by a global audience, combined with long-term sponsorship agreements for clothing and protective equipment from major motorcycle brands such as Revite, Arai, and Moscow Moto. Major manufacturers such as Yamaha also provide motorcycles directly to the female adventurer, significantly reducing her initial investment costs. That income has also expanded through sales of her personal memoir and the operation of an online filmmaking academy that she personally teaches and manages. The rapid growth of this business unintentionally created an absolute divide between the glamorous world on screen and Noraly Schoenmaker's private life. Viewers could easily notice the complete absence of romantic relationships or family members throughout her travel episodes, turning her into a major mystery for her fans. When asked by the Dutch newspaper NRC about the sacrifices involved, the master's graduate admitted, "Absolute freedom always comes at the price of extreme loneliness, on roads where no one else is passing." Her life revolves around a repetitive cycle of riding during the day, finding safe shelter as evening falls, and tirelessly editing videos on her laptop late into the night. Prolonged loneliness across countless time zones, combined with the pressure to maintain a consistent upload schedule, gradually became a natural filter that removed most ordinary social relationships from her life. Before public doubts had time to settle, a terrifying event struck. The endurance hidden inside the body of a woman approaching 39 was pushed to its absolute limit by a serious traffic accident in East Africa, directly threatening the survival of her entire solo travel project. Slippery roads of East Africa. The life-changing crash occurred in early 2024 in Tanzania, while Noraly Schoenmaker was completing the demanding stages of Season 7. The heavy rains typical of Africa's rainy season transformed the remote dirt roads into extremely slippery, treacherous fields of mud for anyone riding a motorcycle. In a moment when the motorcycle lost traction because of the severely damaged road surface, the female adventurer's bike fell heavily, sending her crashing directly onto the hard ground. The serious accident left her badly injured with a completely fractured collarbone and multiple complicated injuries to her leg. The local emergency support team had to intervene immediately, rapidly arranging an international medical evacuation flight to take her out of East Africa and directly back to the Netherlands. The solo travel channel's journey around the world was forced to stop at once, causing intense concern among millions of viewers. As soon as she returned home, Schoenmaker was taken directly into major surgery to stabilize the injured shoulder area with specialized metal plates. An unintended medical error during the operation placed her health in a condition far more dangerous than the original injury. Doctors accidentally punctured the pleural membrane, causing an acute collapsed lung that sent the oxygen level in her blood dangerously low. The woman who had appeared exceptionally strong on remote roads was now lying motionless in intensive care, while medical specialists inserted a chest drainage tube. For several consecutive weeks, her social media accounts and YouTube channel were completely frozen, with no new content or images being posted. The frightening silence continued until her body slowly began responding to treatment and rehabilitation. Her prolonged recovery in the Netherlands unintentionally opened an entirely new direction for the former geology graduate during the period when she could no longer sit on a motorcycle. To fill the empty hours and cope with persistent physical pain, she began writing down all the experiences she had never shared. The result of those months spent in bed was the publication of her Dutch-language memoir, Keer Punt, near the end of the year. Following its warm reception from readers, the English edition, titled Free Ride, was released and quickly entered the Sunday Times bestseller list. The book was more than a simple chronicle of her travels. It became the place where she courageously examined the deepest psychological shadows that the camera had never reached. The success of this literary work created a major turning point, reshaping Schoenmaker's entire outlook before she crossed into a new stage of life. The words written in her hospital room became a universal key, opening the door to the most candid confessions of her life. The threshold of 39 welcomed the female adventurer in a completely different state of mind, where physical scars began to speak and demand the greatest possible respect from the person who carried them. Romantic tragedy. The pages of Free Ride delivered a major shock to those familiar with the image of Noraly Schoenmaker as someone always filled with positive energy on screen. For the first time, the Dutch adventurer openly revealed the core motivation that had driven her to abandon her stable life in 2018. Viewers had previously known only that she left because of her passion for travel, or the pure desire for freedom felt by a geology graduate. In reality, the birth of the Itchy Boots project began as a genuine escape after she painfully discovered through detailed messages that her long-term live-in boyfriend had been unfaithful. The collapse of that relationship happened at the same time that her home had to be sold, and work pressure was forcing her to return to an office in the Netherlands. Losing every source of emotional stability in her 30s pushed Schoenmaker to the edge, emotionally leaving her to choose the motorcycle as a way to heal a profound wound. When she reached the age of 39 in the middle of 2026, this resilient woman once again stirred her fan community by releasing a special video titled "My Secret Exposed: Behind the Scenes." In this production, Schoenmaker no longer appeared as an invincible heroine capable of overcoming every challenge of weather or terrain. Instead, she willingly acknowledged the severe physical limitations of her body. The metal plate inside her collarbone and the lasting damage to her leg following the serious accident had significantly reduced her former physical strength. The vlogger spoke about the psychological pressure weighing on her every day as she tried to maintain a consistent posting schedule for more than 3 million followers while repeatedly enduring physical pain whenever she rode across rough terrain. The confession felt like the removal of a media suit of armor, returning the central figure to what she truly was, a flesh and blood human being, carrying injuries that could never be erased. In spite of her physical limitations and the painful parts of her past that had just been revealed, Schoenmaker still chose to begin Season 8 on a new motorcycle. Her journey carried her across the vast grasslands and severe deserts of Mongolia, where she had to face intense heat and the absence of basic living conditions on her own. Records of the trip documented her relentless efforts to negotiate with government authorities and complete the procedures required to re-enter China, a region with extremely strict border security regulations for foreign travelers using private vehicles. The future direction of Itchy Boots has been clearly defined as an acceptance of living with scars, confronting loneliness, and continuing to move for as long as the wheels can still turn on the road. The persistence of the Dutch woman across Mongolia's sun-baked, windswept routes has shown that her admissions at 39 have not diminished the value of this media brand. To fully understand how she was able to manage such an enormous workload in the past, it is necessary to look back at the unprecedented golden stages she once conquered. The brilliant milestones that came before her injuries reveal the exceptional organizational and content production abilities of a single independent creator. The height of fame. Before scars were carved deeply into her body and private secrets were revealed, Noraly Schoenmaker experienced an unprecedented golden era. The Dutch adventurer established an entirely new standard for solo travel filmmaking by repeatedly completing journeys of extraordinary difficulty. The beginning of this remarkable run of success came with her decision to switch to a small dual-sport motorcycle, the Honda CRF 250TL, which she named Dano. The new motorcycle accompanied her on a planned journey across South America, beginning in the windswept region of Patagonia. The trip was suddenly interrupted in Peru by the outbreak of the global pandemic, forcing her to leave the motorcycle in a local storage facility and make an emergency evacuation back to the Netherlands on a humanitarian flight. Refusing to surrender to circumstances, she quickly reignited her passion by riding from South Africa toward East Africa as soon as international borders reopened. Schoenmaker's persistence was rewarded with another monumental journey from South America all the way to Alaska on a new Honda CRF 300 rally. The motorcycle quickly became a symbol of the Itchy Boots brand's remarkable endurance as it carried her across frozen roads and some of the most treacherous terrain in North America. The reputation of the geology graduate grew even stronger when she upgraded to a modified CRF 300 rally and entered regions that would challenge even the toughest male riders. She rode alone across countries facing unstable security conditions in West Africa, where military checkpoints were frequent and road conditions were extremely poor. A major highlight of this series of journeys was her special trip to Yemen, a destination closed to most international tourists. Successfully negotiating the presence of a local guide demonstrated her outstanding diplomatic ability and meticulous logistical preparation. The enormous workload behind every video with millions of views required an extremely disciplined and systematic production process. Alone on remote roads, Schoenmaker had to operate a complex filming system consisting of 3 or 4 GoPro cameras mounted at different angles on the motorcycle and helmet to capture every moment of movement. For wide aerial footage, she flexibly used a drone programmed to follow the motorcycle automatically, or accepted the need to stop and control it manually. Her working cycle continued from early morning until late at night, when she had to find a corner of a tent or an inexpensive guest house, plug in her equipment, and begin editing footage on her laptop, managing the entire content production pipeline single-handedly, while simultaneously navigating demanding global terrain, established an entirely unprecedented operational standard within the digital travel documentary space. Noraly Schoenmaker executed the comprehensive roles of director, primary cinematographer, local logistics coordinator, and chief editor, simultaneously eliminating the need for traditional broadcasting crews or support vehicles. Every technical decision, including the precise deployment of action cameras on her protective gear and the calculated utilization of autonomous tracking drones in isolated areas, required meticulous time management and physical stamina. This exhaustive workflow meant that after spending long hours operating a heavy motorcycle on unpaved roads, the creator dedicated her remaining evening energy to organizing large data files and editing high-definition sequences on a portable laptop inside remote shelters. Those proud milestones of fame could only emerge when one individual dared to break through every social expectation and stereotype. To understand why one woman could possess such extraordinary courage, the world must look back at where her journey began many years earlier. The wheel of history takes us back to the moment when a young woman trained in the natural sciences decided to redirect the course of her life. The geological turning point. The deeper roots of Noraly Schoenmaker's resilience were formed many years before the creation of the Itchy Boots channel. After earning a master's degree in geology, specializing in Earth system modeling from Utrecht University in 2010, the young Dutch woman immediately entered extremely demanding field environments. She spent months traveling through remote areas of Australia to participate in projects searching for and surveying underground gold reserves, gaining basic survival knowledge in the wilderness. Her exceptional professional ability later led her to a project management position at a major international dredging corporation, where she directly supervised large-scale marine infrastructure projects in Kuwait, Kazakhstan, the Bahamas, and Panama. Her years working at international oil and maritime sites provided a stable income while also sharpening her crisis management skills, her ability to adapt to different cultures, and her independent logistical thinking, all of which later became essential to long solo journeys by motorcycle. A major turning point came in early 2018, when a series of personal upheavals and changes in her professional direction arrived at the same time. Her employer intended to transfer her to a permanent office position in the Netherlands, a prospect completely opposed to the free-spirited nature of an experienced field specialist. Faced with a crossroads in her life, Schoenmaker made a bold decision. She submitted her resignation, voluntarily ended a geology career that was still advancing, and sold all of her accumulated possessions, including her home and her Ducati Monster 796 motorcycle. She used all of her remaining savings to buy a one-way ticket to India, carrying only a vague plan to share her personal travel experiences on social media platforms. The decision marked a complete break from her comfort zone and the beginning of a search for her own path. When she reached the mountain town of Manali in late 2018, the former geology graduate decided to rent and later purchase an older Royal Enfield Himalayan, one of the most common and easily repairable motorcycles on the steep mountain roads of the region. She named her first two-wheeled companion Basanti, officially laying the foundation for and uploading the opening video of a YouTube channel called Itchy Boots in November 2018. Over the following 12 months, her continuous journey with Basanti covered more than 36,000 kilometers across Southeast Asian countries, continued north into remote Central Asia, and eventually crossed borders back into Europe. The raw authenticity of her filming, combined with the natural storytelling style of a woman traveling alone by motorcycle, quickly attracted the attention of the global ADV community. The rapid growth to her first 50,000 subscribers in 2019 became the strongest possible confirmation that a person willing to abandon everything and begin again had chosen the right direction. The arc from the opening days of 2018 to the difficult roads of Mongolia formed a complete portrait of a global travel icon. Every distinct chapter in the long journey of Noraly Schoenmaker offers concrete evidence of human resilience and the sheer willpower required to navigate complex geopolitical borders, unpredictable mechanical failures, and extreme environmental conditions completely unaided. Her deliberate transition from the highly predictable and structured corporate routines of an international geochemist into the volatile environment of solo motorcycle travel demonstrates that true personal development occurs exclusively when an individual willingly steps beyond artificial comfort zones to confront core isolation. From the deeply painful personal betrayals that originally catalyzed her departure to the severe, life-threatening thoracic medical complications suffered during her recovery in northwestern Europe, the founder of Itchy Boots has consistently maintained an unyielding dedication to her self-directed path. The vast accumulation of documented miles across multiple continents represents far more than a simple sequence of successful travel vlogs or high-definition digital entertainment for millions of global subscribers. Instead, this massive body of work serves as a foundational reference point for the international adventure riding community, providing genuine validation for those who harbor a quiet desire for autonomy and the mental stamina required to overcome profound adversity. Her willingness to systematically dismantle public skepticism, absorb continuous physical discomfort at 39, and expose her psychological vulnerabilities while simultaneously guiding a heavy motorcycle across the arid, windswept expanses of East Asia provides definitive proof of the enduring authenticity that defines her legacy. Looking back at Noraly Schoenmaker's full journey from a geology graduate who dared to leave everything behind to a resilient 39-year-old woman confronting physical and emotional wounds, we begin to understand the true strength of the solo spirit. The freedom of Itchy Boots was never free. It was purchased with sweat, loneliness, and scars that may never fully heal. Which milestone or admission from Noraly's story impressed you the most today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this video has given you meaningful and valuable insight, remember to press like, share it with friends who share your passion for travel, and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next inspiring journeys. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, and see you again.